This is RGBA, Colorful Tech News and Reviews. My name is Alexandre Valliere-Lagacé, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tade Renard. First up, a little follow-up on the big USB-C iPhone Lightning discussion. There's been lots of rumors / counter-rumors by Ming-Chi Kuo and others regarding the future iPhone 8 and maybe the whole iPhone lineup and eventually probably the whole device lineup from Apple moving from Lightning to USB-C. There's a good discussion on ATP this week about this. John Siracusa goes around the subject quite a lot. Notable things, I would say that the big difference, apart from the size, because the USB-C connector is small, but not as small as a Lightning connector. There's also the pin situation, meaning that right now, if you break a pin on a Lightning connector, the pin is inside your iPhone, so you're kind of screwed. If you break a pin on a USB-C device, the pin is inside the cable. So you just swap the cable and life is good. So, that's the big difference I can see from now. The size also, I don't know if Apple is trying to go even slimmer with the future iPhones. I'm pretty sure right now the USB-C would fit in a iPhone 7 generation. But apart from that, there's also the going to the standard instead of cranking out a new standard. Lightning is about 5-6 years old, so moving away from that is a pain because lots of places who are quite slow to replace their docks or their alarm clock, like in hotels, they have just barely started to be up to date now, and that would put them in a situation where they would need to go through another transition. So I'm not sure that's the right way to go right now. What do you think about this whole USB-C and Lightning situation?
Yeah, what he was saying about the USB, he said, even my briefcase has a USB-A normal connector, so it's everywhere. I prefer Lightning over USB-C. I don't like the USB-C has this connector like inside of the hole, and I don't know, it might be prone to breaking, and also it's bigger, so I can't imagine them going and putting a bigger connector on the iPhone, especially when all they talk about is thinness and making the whole thing thinner, and now they just put this plug that's bigger on the thing. Also, Lightning is everywhere, and they already have I think they get a percentage every time somebody wants to implement Lightning on their product, like Bose base stations or whatever. Right?
Yeah, the MFI program, they have to pay Apple something for that.
Right, so they get a cut on that, so they lose that revenue stream. If it really be this year, they could really say courage if they switch to USB-C. I don't know who said that, but that was a good quote. Like if they do it, that would take courage to completely scrap their connector that they're usually so proud of having their own connector, and they'd scrap it for USB-C.
Yeah, but the thing is that you're right about the pins, and also I'm afraid of like inserting my USB-C cable like in an angle and bending the pins or breaking that little tab that's inside the computer or the USB device. Personally, I prefer also the Lightning. It's kind of probably not a good reason, but looking at it, you look at a Lightning connector, and it kind of speaks like solidity and like toughness and strength. It's quite thick also, so you know that this little metal slab will probably never bend or never break. And the connectors are kind of like incorporated into like a white plastic thing, so they don't stick out. They're not like, you cannot scratch them off with your nail. So and even the little tabs on the side where the connector kind of gets holded by, it's pretty nice. So overall the design looks much better from the outside, but then again, what about inside the iPhone? Because that's where the pins are. But still, if you just look at your iPhone, you don't really see like nothing coming out. So it doesn't look like it can break also easily. So all in all, I think that the Lightning design is much better. Did Apple really design the USB-C connector? Maybe they did. Maybe they had constraint from the USB-C group, and that's why it looks like this. It's not a bad design per se. The problem right now with USB-C is the standards. There are way too many types of USB-C cables. Like you probably saw the size of the MacBook Pro cable. It's super thick, super strong, and it's like hard to bend because it needs to bring like so many watts of power at once. In my hands, I have the first USB-C cable I bought on Amazon when the Apple TV came out. I wanted to go on the Apple TV beta, so I needed a USB-C cable. And this is like a little flimsy cable that is probably not high powered, would probably not even charge like a Pixel phone. It's basically just like a stupid USB 2 cable with a USB-C end. So not even full speed because I think, it's not even blue. So that's a problem I think with USB-C is that, yes, the connector might be standard, but even though the connector is standard, the cable is not. So as opposed Lightning, there is one Lightning and it's good for everything. Well, at least for now, until maybe Apple releases a model that can do USB 3 speed transfers. But still, in my book, the Lightning connector is far superior in all ways. And I don't think there's no technical reason why Apple would need to switch. They probably designed the Lightning cable for many, many years ahead, and many, many crazy ideas they probably had, but still did not implement. So, I wouldn't like them to switch.
Also, maybe USB-C is faster, like would charge faster?
Yes, because you can get this super thick cable. Like, because the specs allow more power, they also allow different types of cable. And that's also like, it's a plus, but it's also a minus because yes, you can do more things with it, but you just introduce different types of cable and different standards, and they're not color coded, they're not size different. It's the very same connector, but the cable will or will not work. Just talk to anyone who bought a MacBook Pro with Thunderbolt and they tried to buy third-party cables or batteries or adapters or hubs. It's always like a touch and go. Like you try something, it works or it doesn't, you just return it back and get something else. So I got a friend in Quebec who actually got one from work and he had to try a bunch of different cables. It's also like spending your evenings just comparing specs of cables just to making sure that it's going to fit, kind of like with HDMI cable. And what I did with the 4K Vizio TV I reviewed recently. I had to purchase 3 different cables because before fully understanding how the different standards and types of cable worked, I thought, okay, I'll just use one of my old cables. Of course, it doesn't work in 4K. Then I purchased a 4K 60 frames per second cable, which was not HDR. And so I had to purchase a third one to eventually like get a cable that can do everything. And this one, I labeled it like the best. So just from my box of cable, this is the one that I need to use whenever I get a 4K display or 4K device. So yeah, it's a pain.
So bottom of the line, do you want the next iPhone to be Lightning or USB-C?
Lightning, without any hesitation.
I think I'd say USB-C just to make it standard everywhere. Just to make it, the switch is going to be hard again, like always, but at least everybody would be on the same page, same connector. And when you go to Christmas parties and you have that weird uncle that still has an Android phone, you can both charge with the same cable.
Yeah, but what about if the cable has one end Lightning and one end USB-C instead of USB-A?
As long as it has a brick and it plugs in the wall, I'm fine.
Yeah, but that's what's gonna happen because maybe Apple will start by standardizing their power bricks and moving the USB-A Apple charger to be a USB-C. So you will have in the box a USB-C cable, so you can plug it into your brand new MacBook Pro with the Touch Bar.
A USB-C to Lightning?
Yeah, the same cable with Lightning one end, USB-C the other one. So you can now use the power brick from the MacBook or charge from the MacBook. That's probably the way to go for now, I think.
Yeah, that might be why Wall Street Journal says that they're going to come with USB-C. Might be actually just a cable that's one end USB-C, one end Lightning.
That would make more sense because right now the source of power, which is your computer or your brick on the wall, Apple seems to go to the USB-C way, just because of looking at the latest MacBook Pro. That's what they have. So
And
would make
also
more
the
sense.
iPad.
The iPad?
Doesn't the iPad Pro, the big,
Nope.
big Pro, come with the USB-C to Lightning?
Nope. It's USB-A again. It's just a bigger, not even bigger, just more powerful.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, I have one plugged, and I know that I can use any cable on it. So.
You have the Baby Pro.
Yeah. You're referring to the big one or the small one?
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah. So basically, from what we've gathered, basically the charger for the iPads is not USB-C, still USB-A. But the thing is that the MacBook and the MacBook Pro both are now with USB-C connectors. Therefore, their power bricks are USB-C connector. And the USB-C to Lightning cable is already existing, because if you go to the Apple Store right now and you buy an iPhone and you buy a MacBook Pro or a MacBook, you're kind of screwed, because you cannot use your iPhone provided cable to plug in into your MacBook. So you have to buy this specific cable that is on the Apple Store, which goes from your Lightning connector to your USB-C MacBook connector. So that's already there, and I'm thinking that this is the way to go for Apple, that in the future, all other devices will go this way. So the next iPhone 8 or 7S or whatever, they will all still have Lightning. That's my prediction. And in the box, the power adapter will have a USB-C connector instead of a USB-A. So that clears it up. And yeah, there's also the fast charging capabilities of certain devices, like the big iPad Pro. That's one thing that I'm still on the edge today. I'm not sure if it's good for the battery. I've heard like conflicting arguments from both sides. There are some electrical engineers in some forums that say that it's not good because it's going to overcharge the battery. And even though the device can, I don't know, like smartly like differentiate the type of current that it's being fed, it still is a problem, and it's going to wear the battery faster. So that's why I rarely use my iPad charger on my iPhone, because I don't want to wear the battery too fast. And I'm also suggesting the same thing for my kids and my wife. They only use the iPhone 1 amp provided charger for that. On the other side, though, there are people that are saying that this is not a problem. The iPhones, especially the more recent versions, and the iPads are all smart, and they can only accept whatever they need. And if they can accept 2 amps, like the charger, the iPad 2.1 amp charge, to charge faster, they can handle it. If they accept it, they can handle it. So I'm still like not sure exactly. There's no definitive answer. Can you really trust Apple with that? Like, they say yes, it's fine, but in the end, they just want you to replace your battery faster, maybe. So it's like, it's hard to have like a definitive answer on that subject. But I would gladly like and prefer to have only iPad like 12 watts charger out on my house and charge everything like in an hour, instead of waiting multiple hours from stuff to charge. What do you think about that? Do you use like your iPad charger on your iPhone and vice versa?
I used to, but I don't anymore, because I just plug it overnight anyways.
Yeah, so there's no need for fast charging because you have a long period of wait.
Right.
Anyways.
Right.
But like, if tomorrow I would say, here's a box full of iPad chargers and I give it to you for free, do you want to switch your old chargers, which from your iPhones, to these? Will you do it?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't mind.
You don't mind? Okay. Coming from a guy who had an iPhone 6 with battery problems,
Yeah.
you're fine with that?
Yeah, give me fast charging, because I was dead.
Okay, all right.
I do the big 29 USB-C power adapter with the USB-C to Lightning. I'd go full power.
Yeah, that would be crazy. What happens if you take like a... Yeah, what I'm curious to know is this year's big iPhone, let's say it's the 7S Plus or the 8 or whatever, it's probably going to be, like I'm hoping, a Lightning to USB-C. What happens if you plug it into that big 87 watt charger from the MacBook Pro? Will that charge in like 12 minutes? That would be crazy.
And also talking about cables, did you see the news that if you plug your Nintendo Switch and your new MacBook Pro at USB-C connectors, it's actually the MacBook that charges, not the Nintendo Switch.
No, I have not seen that.
See it?
Seriously?
Yeah.
So the Switch charges your MacBook. That's nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about standards, huh? Wow. Okay. So that. Oh wow. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, I still have to exactly understand what I should get for that Nintendo Switch of mine to charge it on the way, on the road, because I'm with that 2.5 hours battery life of the on the new Zelda game. Let's say I take it for work, it's fully charged. I take the bus, I play maybe about 45 to 55 minutes in the bus, so that's an hour done. It sleeps all day and then an hour to come back, so it's 2 hours of gameplay and maybe a day, almost like 12 hours, or maybe 8 hours of sleep. So will I have enough power to do my trip back to home, or do I need to get like a cable for work or a battery for my bag if ever I'm out of power? So I know that on the console, on the device itself, it says that it's 15 volt and 2.6 amp. So I'm not even sure that the regular battery pack of 5 volts and 2.1 amp will be sufficient to charge it. So yeah, that will be a fun thing to guess and try. Probably do a couple of Amazon orders, an order of many different packs, and then return whatever I don't want and it doesn't work. I should probably get one of those little USB-C power analyzer. I don't know what you call them. It's just like a USB stick with a screen. It tells you exactly what's the power coming through or coming out, number of volts and number of amps. So you can probably choose the right device for that. So yeah, I should probably do that.
It's really complicated.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The connector is standard, but the technology using the connector is so permissive that you can do like whatever you want. You want lots of power, you can do it. You want lots of bandwidth, you can do it. You want something that is super small, super finicky, you can do it. Like you can get like 50 cents cable on Amazon, but they are probably the worst, and that's a problem to me with this USB-C generation, is that it wanted to do everything, to be like really universal, but universal in a way that there's like 12 standards in one single connector.
So moving on to USB-C connectors, Galaxy 8 leaked with a USB-C connector, and the new LG G6 leaked with the USB-C connector. Well, it didn't leak, but was released.
Yeah, but you see that there's something common with both these devices, is that the screen itself is actually almost bezel-less on the sides. The Galaxy S8 is curved, as they did last year with the Galaxy Edge. And the LG G6 also has the same type of format, if you want, the ratio. So I'll put a link in the show notes of the MKBHD top 5 LG G6 feature that he usually do before cranking out his full review, while we wait for him to try the phone for a couple of weeks. Basically, like the screen is very high and not so large, meaning that the ratio is probably more than 16:9, maybe 21:9.
I think it's 20:9.
20:9, yeah. So that also gives us indication maybe that that's the way Apple is going to go, meaning that they might get like a bezel less on the sides or some kind of curved, maybe the exact same curvature we have right now with the iPhone 7 and iPhone 6s generations, but instead of having the screen stop at 1/8 of an inch to the side, you can probably wrap it around to exactly where the top and the bottom panels are linked. So, and also the one, like we said last week, the thing we are wondering is what happens with the Touch ID connector, not connector, but sensor. Will it go inside the screen? Will there be like a kind of a new sticker on the bottom with more data? Will it be integrated into the screen directly?
Will it go on the back like they do on the Android phones?
Yeah, that's pretty smart. So I don't know if Apple would do that. All their branding is like black slate with a button on the bottom. It's been like that since 2007. So I don't know if they would change that.
My favorite feature of the LG G6 is the rounded screen corner edges. Did you see that?
Yeah. Because that's an OLED screen too, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah,
the corners are round. It's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And that's probably why the next iPhone will get the integrated Touch ID inside the screen, because being an OLED display, you can crank it up at any shape or size that you want. So you could have like a hole in the middle where the button would go, and the screen can go all around it. And give it to Apple to do some seamless design. We know that he can do it, basically because even high-end Android phones of today, you can still see all the sensors in the front, on the top part, on the forehead. And on the black iPhone, you can see that there's almost no sensors there. Well, you don't see the sensors really, unless you're in direct sunlight. So Apple can do a good work of putting everything into a one design that is seamless and, yeah, well done. So.
What's gonna happen when you're gonna watch a YouTube video in landscape with this 20:9? Is it gonna be 2 black bars on the side, or?
Yeah, most probably. You'll probably be able to tap twice and maybe
zoom?
fill the screen, I guess. But yeah, so yeah, it's hard to say because so many movies are 21:9 right now. If you look at any Pixar movies, and most of the cinema format movies, they all have that 21:9 ratio. So it would be better adapted for certain movies. But if you look at any current or old movies, you might have black bars or maybe crop in the middle or something. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it will always change. So I'm not sure it's a big thing to. En tout cas, pas ça, là. So moving on to from movie to TV, YouTube has announced that they're going to launch a YouTube TV streaming service. So, which is basically YouTube going to the television game. Basically, if you look at the statistics, I think there is less than 1.5 billion hours per year of TV watched, and this number goes down rapidly every year. And the number of hours watched per year on YouTube goes up every year, and it has already crossed the 1 billion hours. So you have 1 billion hours YouTube, 1.5 billion hours television. This one goes down and YouTube goes up. So eventually they're going to cross, and YouTube will be watched more than TV. So it makes sense that in a move to maybe save television or offer a television service that does not suck and does not require a bunch of devices, Google and YouTube are launching a $35 per month plan for which you can access regular TV networks. And also it provides a cloud PVR. So that's pretty nice.
Right before the show, we were comparing the prices with the Canadian basic plans here, and it's actually on par.
Yeah, I thought it was cheaper, but yeah, you're right. About $37 for a base plan. Now we would need to compare exactly which channels are included. But if this ever comes across to Canada and does not cost $200 per month, we could probably potentially have a way to consume television without actually having a cable-provided cable box or something. So it's all in the cloud. So that means that if YouTube updates their Apple TV app, their whatever smart TV apps and everything, they would be able to benefit from this.
I'd like it. I'd take it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't watch TV.
Yeah, the only reason I need TV is for live sports, and my girlfriend watches like shows. But other than that, we could PVR everything. But only live sports is the only one that's missing. Yeah.
Yeah, I will probably not get on that unless there's a promotion. Like if you're already, I don't know, YouTube Red / this, or if they make like a package deal of all their services in one single thing, maybe I would be tempted. But just $35 per month, even if it was Canadian dollars, for television, I do not watch television enough to worth that money. So I can probably say that I would watch maybe 2 hours per month. So that would be quite expensive per hours of TV watching.
And also in the news from Google, they confirmed that they're going to release a new Pixel. I find this, we were looking again before the show, This is pretty early, considering that they only released the last one in October, and it shipped in October of 2016. So I guess they'd announce it at I/O and maybe ship it right after or something, or they go earlier than the yearly release cycle.
I think that the point that they wanted to make is that they are backing their devices, and they are there to stay. That this was not just a one-off, as Google did so many times with different devices. So probably that is just to reassure consumers that, or partners, that the Google Pixel project was a success, and that there are new phones that will be coming up probably this year and every year. So yeah, it's they even quoted that Pixel stays premium, meaning that it's gonna stay a premium device, and they will not go the route of the previous phones where they are actually the cheapest on the market, out of contract. These will stay in the higher end of the devices available. But yeah, like, does it make a difference that we know that something else will be coming up this fall? We know that there's always a new iPhone every year, so, and that doesn't stop people from buying them. So
I just hope it doesn't hit their sales like really bad, because then people are going to say, "Oh, I'm just going to wait for the next one."
well, we're in March, so there's still quite a number of months to wait. So I would say maybe yes for sales of this summer. Maybe people going in like July or August will probably wait, but people right now in March that let's say they just broke their Galaxy S6 and now they want to replace it with something new, and there's a Pixel. They know that there's going to be a new Pixel in fall. Well, they need a Pixel right now, so they will get it right now.
At the same time, like, nobody knows about this besides us geeks.
Yeah, exactly. If you ask anybody in the street, they don't know.
Right. They just go in the store and they buy whatever they want.
Wasn't it like Jimmy Kimmel who did like a segment where he went to the street, like just right after the iPhone announcement, and they say, "Hey, we're partnering with Apple. We are swapping your old phone with a new phone. So we'll get you the new iPhone 7 and we're going to transfer everything like in 5 minutes or whatever." So he takes the person's phone, which is super interesting by this little program, and they just plug it in a computer, wait a few seconds, and give it back. Say, here's your new iPhone. Wow, it's faster, but it's the old phone that the person just gave them. So I don't know. People don't know exactly how this works. So they can be fed any type of information, as we know with all those artist renderings of future iPhone based on rumors. People take this for granted that this was a leak picture of the next iPhone, so that they know exactly that this phone is going to be the new model. It's going to look exactly like that, and that's like a fact.
But I have, people like, they really believe the leaks. Also, I have friends that say, "Hey, did you see the upcoming iPhone?" And because they just saw like a leak, artist render online somewhere, from published on Facebook from a friend of a friend of a friend. So people are really, I guess, getting into like the leak game or preview game or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but they don't know that it's a leak. They think that it's real thing.
They think it's the real thing. They think like, oh, they found one and they posted it online.
Yeah, exactly. Like they did with so many like Android devices, like the LG G6. We saw pictures of it before it was released. So not too long before, maybe like a week before, but still, it was fun to see the new device. But yeah, for these iPhone renders, people think that this is the real deal.
Yeah. And also, Jimmy Kimmel does this for like a bunch of stuff. He goes in the street and he asks like, he has a topic and he asks questions to people on the street to see what like normal citizens know or how they're aware of whatever. And it's pretty funny sometimes.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And this week, we also had a tech company go public. Snap had its IPO, and the shares were released, I think it was at $17. And they quickly rose to $24, granting them like $4.5 billion extra in cash or something. So that's nice.
I think they were predicting 17, and then it actually was 24 or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think it started at 17. No, don't they have to provide like a base value or something?
I have no idea how this works.
Yeah, me neither. Right now, at this very moment, it's at $27.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's hard what's Twitter's at?
Let me see.
I thought it was. I think it's. Maybe not. I think it's like $40.
Twitter is at 15.75. So $15. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to tell because those first few days are usually great for new stock exchange there, but reality kicks in eventually, and that's when you get the price down to a more realistic level. Especially like you said last week, that Instagram is quite strong in its new features going directly against Snap, and there's a big amount of users migrating from Snap to Instagram because there's now stories, there's now the live streaming, and there's now the galleries that you can post multiple photos of the same thing at once. So yeah, so that amount is nice. There are people that benefited from that. I read from a high school in California, which one of the students' father was actually an early investor in Snap. They convinced the school to buy $15,000 of Snap by investing in it in 2012, and that 15,000 became 24 million. So,
that's good for a school fund.
Yeah, for school, it's probably their whole their whole budget for like a couple of years. So I'm guessing that they're gonna get brand new computer labs and brand new sports equipment and brand new
sports facilities and everything.
Yeah, oh yeah, everything. They're gonna move to a new campus and yeah, so that's pretty great for them. I would have invested $1,000 and get my $2 million. I would have been happy with that.
And 2012 is not that long ago. Like, they were already big in 2012.
Yeah. It was probably not the first round of investment. It was probably like the second round, but still, it's a good return on your investment, I would say.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So there's no apps this week. I've seen a couple things go by, but nothing of major importance. I'll keep this for next week. Moving on to Review Corner. I don't have a proper review to talk about, but I did receive my Nintendo Switch yesterday. And I can talk about my first impressions of the hardware because I haven't even started a game right now. Basically, I was too busy yesterday, and when it came time to play with it, I just opened the box, but did not even start a game. So basically, let's go over the Switch. The Switch is this little tablet device which has the Joy-Con controllers, which are two little controllers that snap to the side of the console being a little tablet. And in the box, you have one accessory, which is basically like a Joy-Con holder, if you want. So it's like a grip on which you slide in your controllers on it. It doesn't charge them. It's just basically just like, those like PS4 or Xbox 360 handle on the sides, which fits in your hand. It's basically just this on which you slide in your controllers. And of course, there's the dock. The dock being this little plasticky thing on which you slide your console to get it to connect to the TV. This is interesting because Nintendo did a few little things on this little dock. It's basically just a dumb dock. Basically, it's a USB-C dock. Whenever you put in your console, there's a connector at the bottom that raises and connects itself to the console. There's a little guide to make sure that your console fits perfectly straight into the connector. And there's a little door on the side which you can open. And there you have an AC adapter, which is where you plug in the AC adapter to the wall. There's a USB port, so you could probably fit a very small hard drive in there. So maybe if your Nintendo Switch is not being used on the go, you could probably use that to do some external memory. And there's the HDMI out. All these wires are like inside this little door, and they're routed to a little port on the side, which can be going out like to the right side of the dock or to behind. So there's a little bit of cable management there, so that's pretty nice. So what about the console? It's smaller than I thought. I know it was a 6.2 inch screen, but I was not expecting something that small. And I was afraid that the Joy-Con controllers would be too small to be comfortable, or that the console would not be very comfortable to hold in my hands. There are two little things that Nintendo did for that. The shoulder buttons, ZR and ZL, they're basically a little, what do you call that? Like a little edge, if you want, on which you can hold your middle finger under and basically get a good grip on the console. So just by holding it in my hands, the bottom corners in the palm of my hands and my middle finger just holding the little tab there, it's basically quite steady and quite comfortable. So that's not a problem. The first thing that I noticed that I don't really like is the little kickstand. First of all, it's quite hard to take out. Yeah, so the angle is not too wide, so basically the console is quite straight up, like almost vertical. And it's very easy if you don't perfectly line it with the kickstand, that the kickstand will basically just go back inside its little holder and the console will fall on its head. So that's not the best. Below the kickstand, there's a micro SD part where you can put your micro SD memory. The console has 32 gigs internal memory, and you can add more via this micro SD. So the screen looks nice. I did the initial updates to get all the online features and everything. So that's going to be cool. I took the gray model. I did not care for the red and blue neon controllers. I want something that's more of a, like, not serious look, but less of a flashy thing. So that's basically it for the hardware. One thing to note, there were rumors of Nintendo putting some coatings on the little cartridges so that kids would not swallow those cartridges. So what did you think I do as soon as I got my Zelda game yesterday?
You sticked it in your mouth.
Of course, I had to test that. So it tastes like it really does. Seriously, I don't know if you know about this little thing you put on your nails if you're a nail biter. It's the exact same compound or whatever chemical. So basically, it tastes very, very acidic and it's very distasteful, and you quickly are prone to throw out the game from your mouth. So this will work. I'm just wondering if the first time that's how it works. The second time, maybe the coating is partly gone and maybe it will not be as effective. But let's hope that this triggers a reflex in the child's mind. And if he gets it in his mouth and it tastes so bad that he's not going to try anymore and just forget about it. So yeah, that's basically the tasting test. The cartridges come in a little box, which is basically, I would say 2/3 of a DVD case. And for such a small cartridge, it's quite special to see this. It comes at the bottom of the case, and there's a big gap in the top where, in this case, you can see Link climbing up a cliff. There's two little tabs where you can put like instructions booklet if this is still something that exists. I don't really see that anymore. So first impression of the hardware is pretty good. Really looking forward to play that in my commute every morning and every night. The weight is great. It's not too heavy. It looks very solid, very well built, as Nintendo knows to do these things. So I'm not surprised about that. I don't think the resolution will be a problem. I'm not the kind of gamer that actually wants to get that extra FPS or extra resolution like the PS Vita. I don't only 540 lines of resolution, and I was perfectly fine with that. I did not care if it wasn't 720p. There were lots of discussion online that people were pissed because it was missing 200 lines of resolution. Yes, it could have looked better, but it was fast, powerful, responsive, and the games that I played were exactly that. They were amazing. So I don't care for those little nitpick details. What else? Any questions?
Not really. You know, I'm not the gaming guy.
I know, but that's why sometimes you can ask questions that I did not think of. Yeah. So
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it for this very first impressions. I will be playing lots of Zelda this week. So next week I'll be able to give my first impression of the game and all the little details of how does it handle saves game, how does it handle like going to sleep, coming back. I know for one thing that the update mechanism is very nicely thought. Basically, when you got an update for a game like Zelda, for example, those who had the review console ahead of the launch, they were able to play the game, but then there was a day one patch for the game. Basically, what happened is that the patch is downloaded in the background, and even while you're playing the game, you can go back to the main menu, update the game, and it's going to save your state exactly where you were. So update the game, and then you just tap the icon, and you're back into your game. Nothing has changed. You are exactly where you left. So that's pretty intensive and pretty intense in terms of ease of use. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully, other players in the field will learn from Nintendo about this, because that's the best thing you can do. It really seems to be kind of getting out of your way to let you actually enjoy the game. Same thing for the all the different updates. It's never like bugging you or blocking your gameplay, or even if it does, being cartridges and onboard memory, patching the onboard memory is super fast. So even if it says, oh, you have to update before you launch a game, it takes a couple of seconds and it's done. So nothing is better than that.
There's no it connects to Wi-Fi, I guess. There's no like LTE option.
No SIM cards, just Wi-Fi. Yes.
Will you be able to personal hotspot from your phone in the train or the bus?
Good question. Probably.
I'm guessing, since it's just a basic Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, probably, because your phone cranks out a regular Wi-Fi network, so I don't see why it would not. One thing to know, though, is talking about the wireless, this device is not Bluetooth compatible, so you cannot get like wireless headphones to work with it. So you need to actually plug in your headphones into the jack that's on the top of the console. So I was hoping that this would not be the case, being in the wireless world we are right now. But yeah, this does not work like that. All right, so that's it for this week. You can find the show notes at rgba.fm/41, and you can find us on Twitter at _RGBAfm. I'm Valliere, VALLIERES on Twitter.
And I'm Tyler Menard, TYLERMENARD.
Have a nice week.
Have a nice week.